Hey everybody, it's Greg Winters with Personal Dog Training. Thanks for tuning into the Calls with Clients podcast. This is the podcast where we talk to our clients. It's the initial time we're talking to them. We're trying to see if we're going to be able to work together. It gives you an insight into what dog owners are actually asking from dog trainers. This is episode 2. This client's having issues with an overexcited dog that's charging and kind of barking and really intense, excited when it sees people. And there's also some off-leash concerns as far as them being off-leash unsafe and just some of the concerns that we go through. Okay, so what's his name?
Cognac.
Cognac, that's perfect. And he's 9 years old.
Yes.
And then so you say he barks initially, I guess, to tell you people are there, right?
Right.
And that's, I guess, we call that basic territorial barking, you know? Hey, they're here.
Okay.
And then you were saying he's just so out of control, though, excited and jumping and everything.
Right. And we just can't, and I've tried stuff like treats. I've tried, we have a shock collar. I've tried that a little bit, but I'm nervous about that because he is really sensitive.
Okay, that's good to know.
And, so I don't want to overdo anything.
Yep.
And then create a bigger problem. So
Absolutely. And he's sweet. There's no weird, no weird intent, never growling, never nothing.
Oh, never.
Okay, I have to ask because I deal with so many of those cases. And a lot of the dogs are on the verge, and he's just an excited mess. Now, you've had him since he was a puppy?
Yes,
and
he's 8 weeks old.
Okay, and he's a Wheaten Terrier.
Correct, soft-coated Wheaten.
It's funny, one of my longtime clients, and Sky, my dog Sky's best friend is a Wheaten Terrier named Lucy.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
He's just a great dog. And there's other stuff that I love tweak. Like, I don't know why, but tell him to sit.
Okay.
He takes forever to sit. I have to, tell him over and over and over again to sit. I don't know. Now, if I have a treat in my hand, he's down immediately.
Well, we're going to talk all through this and why everybody struggles, and what you're telling me makes a lot of sense right off the bat,
Okay.
So you've had him this whole time. Have you always noticed he's been kind of like this, and it's just building and building, and now it's getting out of control, or is it just?
He's probably, I've noticed that he'll bark when somebody would come to the door when he was younger, but it was never an issue.
Yeah.
Now we are just here during the winter, and he was, our permanent home is outside of Park City, Utah, and we live on 5 acres of land. He has all kinds of space, and so part of it is it's never been an issue because not that many people come to the door.
Yep.
And he's got all kinds of space, and it just hasn't mattered.
Yeah, by the way, I've been in Park City in the winter and in the spring, and it's beautiful there.
Oh, we have a beautiful place to live there.
Now,
we really do.
You're exposing, all the information you give me helps me help you and help your dog, because
okay.
I don't know if you had a chance to look me up at all, but it's hard to explain to people. I'm not really involved with traditional dog training, so traditional dog training would be some of the things that you already mentioned, like trying to use the treats and lure the dog around and hoping you can get them through this behavior, but you can't. Trying to use, on the other side, that's the positive reinforcement. It's really, unfortunately, for an education purpose for everybody I talk to, it's not reliable for social development and behavior, so I don't use it. Now, on the other side, you're seeing the limitations of sit, stay, come, and down training, also known as formal obedience, manners, whatever the heck you want to call it. Again, I'm involved. I had to figure this out, unfortunately, to help people. They're not social development behavior tools. So I actually have developed things that will help directly with relaxation, right? I have a series of dog relaxation techniques I teach. These are all called communication commands. And the dog to relax is going to need to have better boundaries on things. Boundaries and relaxation are actually very much related. So boundaries on not rushing through a door, not automatically jumping on you. And you're going to have to work pretty damn hard at all these boundaries and thresholds. And then you have to know how to re-expose your dog to things properly and burn their energy efficiently. So I only work in those areas in a way that goes right directly at the behavior and psychology. And so that means a lot of the things you're going to hear from me you've never heard before, because everybody's trying to get you to do food luring or sit, stay, coming down, instead of learning how to teach your dog to truly relax. And then what you're describing is basic territorial barking, which is okay. Most dogs that do it, you're not going to stop them permanently, but after 2 or 3 barks, you have to have a shut off. And if you don't shut it off, that's where proactively, not they do it on their own or eventually they figure it out, a proactive shutdown and structure to get them to get off of the territorialism. And then you have to have relaxation techniques with how they interact with guests coming in so they don't default into excitement. When you mix the territorialism unchecked with the overexcitement, that's where it becomes really crazy and in some cases dangerous, believe it or not. Dogs do, not yours, but...
It can be, because we're older. I mean, my husband's 82, I'm 78, and we've got older friends who come, and, he makes me nervous. He could knock somebody over.
Yeah, even though he's not a biter, he could physical thing, Yeah, it's true. I see a lot of people fall and all that stuff. Sometimes I'm a little hard on my clients because I'm like, you're going to trip on your dog if you keep doing what you're doing.
Right,
You may not like me, but, I'd rather have that than... because I see it, I tell them horror stories because I'm the front line of everything you can think of about dog behavior and on a daily basis. But listen, there's more. Your dog has exactly what we're talking about: boundary issues, excitement issues, and then you need specific tools to get there. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I don't know how you do this. We are here until the 1st of June.
Okay, that gives us May.
Yeah,
we can start to get some work done and see how much progress we can make and meet him. And sometimes when a dog's there's a couple factors involved here. A couple things that you talked about. I just have to circle back on. We got to get him to relax in general. So if you have a dog that's always panting for no reason, you have an anxiety case, a big time anxiety case. But in general, we're going to teach him to relax, and that comes out of knowing how to burn energy efficiently as well. So you learn the relaxation techniques, and again, traditional dog training has no relaxation techniques. They just have sit or stay.
Right.
This is where, unfortunately, until I build a bigger platform for myself, it's just me and the people I work with over all these years and developing these things with the dogs. And so if you let your dog run around in circles without specific structured exercise, or you let them just run around in circles, they will ramp themselves up mentally, and you have to deal with all that energy. So that, coupled with knowing how to ask the dog to relax and some structure behind it, goes a long way to helping reset a dog, And then one other quick thing we have to talk about, and then I'll give you my pricing and programs, is just use of general equipment. Most people, when they walk their dogs, are using a harness or something like that. We do use collars that allow for corrections in a way that's very safe and humane and actually allows us to handle the dog properly. So it's like a plastic version of the prong collar. It goes loose on the dog. It's loose on the dog when they go to pull or to teach a basic no or leave it. This is just the facts of life, and we can always discuss how you feel about it, but the facts are dogs learn through physical follow-through and physical means to get to verbal. So if you pop the leash for a no or leave it, you're going to get to that verbal clearer, better, more succinctly. And these collars, all the vets that refer me are smart enough to understand these are the safest piece of equipment. Harnesses, you don't have any control, you have no correction ability. Dogs do slip out or freeze in harnesses, and you can't do anything about it. And then, just real quick, last piece is the flat buckle collar and the old school choke chain are the most dangerous thing you can put on your dog. You know what I mean? Because they pull and they pull. And
no, I don't use those. I use a harness just because otherwise it's choking.
Exactly.
And it doesn't make any difference.
That's why. So you can always educate the next friend or family with little things you remember I tell you. That obviously the choke chain and the flat buckle collar are super dangerous. That's the only reason everybody's on a harness. It does not make them a good tool. And then again, any vet that you go in, if you go in with a properly fitted, even the metal prong collar, or the version that I do, the plastic, if you have a vet tell you that it's going to hurt your dog, I'd be kind of skeptical about that vet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like unfortunately, because I work closely with vets now, very closely, and we refer back and forth. We're working the same dogs. First line of defense for separation anxiety or fear is not medications. It's been proven not to work reliably or at all. Let's get them into get them with a high level behavior expert, and unfortunately have the owners learn a bunch of stuff and apply it. So
Yeah, no.
but
Well, I know Kathy was just raving about how you worked with Bonnie and Bonnie's
cool.
dog, and what a huge difference that was in no time.
yeah.
So that's what and is the age of the dog, does that make a difference?
Well, what it could be is that this dog's been learning this behavior for 9 years, and okay, so I'm like a high level dog behavior expert again, and I'm psychoanalyzing your dog even on paper right now. Your dog must be underneath that very naturally stable, which we call temperament. It's what they're born with. Else he would have been even crazier than what you're describing. He would have done. I mean, these dogs, temperament can hold them so long, and they don't mean to do bad things, and even weirder behaviors. And it doesn't. So you may have a stable dog, but if you don't learn how to nurture the crazy amount of boundaries and relaxation, it'll take you a while to understand why. My dogs sleep on bed and are up on the couch, but this dog is going to need a full reset, unfortunately, more than likely. Sometimes it's a short period, and sometimes it's a longer period, but it does require for me to have some hours with you to understand why. I'm right up front talking about boundaries and relaxation, and it's going to be a lot of that. Almost like if your dog can't relax with you, then it can't be with you for a little bit. That's the old way. And sometimes it's again, some dogs are so smart they just see, oh, he's not going to pet me when I'm excited.
Right.
And then you can start to ask for the excitement instead of the dog defaulting to it. The dog doesn't even know he's defaulting into overexcitement because you've never been able to reverse it and say, here's what relaxation looks like. So, they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
He has no idea. And he's sweet and sensitive, and he could.
Yeah, and he is, and otherwise he's pretty calm, and he's really calm around us. I mean, particularly at this age, he's and I walk him every morning for about 30, 40 minutes, and then he gets a little walk in the afternoon. So, and then, I know if we go out to dinner and we come back, he'll be kind of wound up then, and then I'll take him outside and just kind of let him run. Because we've got a cul-de-sac, and I can just call him. Oh,
that's the last thing. Let me give you my pricing, but I got to talk to you real quick. I know that you live up.
Sure.
I know you live, in the country, so to speak, right? And I started my career down south, and there was a lot of country folk, and off-leash kind of thing. You need to have off-leash training to drive. This is education, and not to feel like you're being singled out, but whenever we drop a leash outside of an enclosed area. Anytime we even drop a leash, that's off-leash. You need off-leash training for that, which I can happily start getting you on the right path, which also requires the e-collar, the shock collar, used properly and taught properly, because you need to control all that. Dogs are dying left and right. I'm telling you, they run away. They make one misstep. So I know, just do not. You can do it. I don't want to be in the I told you so business. This comes from educated persons on the front lines,
Well, actually, when we're in Utah, he's always off-leash. And I have found him off-leash often to be better than on-leash. Because he's more used to that. Now, is he perfect, and would I trust him around here if a rabbit ran? Not at all. So I'm not saying he doesn't need training. I'm just saying that's been his.
It's neither here nor there. I just got to tell you, it's unsafe. You can do it.
Oh, I know that.
You can go click on my YouTube channel. I have a whole thing about off-leash training. You can see what it really looks like. You can't have dogs are. It's not about you. For a second, real quick. It sounds like it is, like you did something wrong, but just to educate, even a well-trained dog breaks at least 5% of the time. They are an independent creature, and you can't fool around with that. You can go a lifetime because your dog's over-attached to you, or you're getting lucky, and it's just not worth messing with. I know the dog's older now. I just recommend, again, if you have a chance to tell other people, even if you remember some of the things I tell you, I've seen dogs die. I had a dog die. I hear about clients' dogs dying this way. You just need your dog to get scared off you and not come back, or a wild animal comes out and scares it, or loud noise, and God, you'll never forgive yourself. But sorry, that's neither here nor there. I just had to.
Yeah.
I think my life would be easier if I just glossed over all that stuff. It was like, okay, great, do it, But even people I talk to that may or may not become clients, I feel a responsibility to pass on the knowledge that I've gained because it's the best practice model,
Yeah.
Because he's cute. We want him to stick around. I'm sure you're doing great. You love him to death. So the way I work is I do mainly private training where I'll come out to you and start working with you in your home. Then we take it out into the neighborhood and the real world. And if you need to meet dogs, we come over here to my house and do the socialization groups here with multiple dogs. Initial hour together is $125.
Okay.
And then after that hour, I want to make sure you like what you're getting. We'll commit to one of the private training programs. I mean, you're here for another month. We could probably do one or two of the programs, but the basic program is 3 sessions for $375. Then it's 5 sessions for $550, and 7 sessions for $700.
Okay.
And I do some board and train here at the house. I don't think that's going to be relevant for you, but that's where the dog comes and stays in a home environment and just lives with us, and we learn from the dog and who they are. And that's $1,050 a week, $150 a day. Like I said, we'll probably just be doing private training with you.
Right, yes.
But if you need to, if you have to come, sometimes a lot of dogs have overexcitement problems with people and with other dogs. So if a dog is overexcited when it sees everybody, like automatically, and you can't calm them down, or they're overexcited every time they see another dog and you can't really calm them down, that's a sign, what they call leash reactivity, or just a poor response. That's a sign of the socialization problem. That they've already been interacting that way too much with that thing, and that's why they have that response. Or it's been too excitable,
Yeah, I don't notice it with other dogs.
Good.
Well, I shouldn't say that. If we have friends who bring their dog over, and when they're loose, they're all excited in the house, and then they have to calm down. But but if he's outside on a leash and we find another dog, he doesn't. I don't have a problem with that. So. But anyway, I would love to set something up, Greg, to have you come. I don't know what your schedule is.
Thanks for listening to the Calls with Clients podcast with Greg Winters and Personal Dog Training. Hope you got some insight in that call about some of the issues concerning overexcitement and off-leash without proper tools and training.